Hello everyone, once again, welcome to my channel. My name is Shivakrishnan and I upload videos related to data analytics and its tools such as Excel, Power BI, and I also make videos related to AI at times, especially when it comes to writing prompts. Okay, thank you very much for your continuous support in watching my videos. I really appreciate that. Your continuous support does encourage me in creating lot many valuable content, and obviously through that I am interested in helping myself also. Okay, so in today's video we are going to take a look at a very complex DAX query known as switch. This is very advanced, all right, and this DAX query will help you to do a complex evaluation, all right, and it's in simple words, right? If I were to do the comparison, it is very much comparable to writing multiple if statements. Okay, so even if this is going to be insufficient for you to understand, I'll give you a very simple comparison, or like in I'll try to explain it very simple way which most of the professionals will be able to understand. Okay, I'm sure that during your school days, now I'll help you with this calculate analogy, right? In terms of comparison, like how does switch DAX query compare with a scenario? So I'm sure that you can look at this particular data here, right? We all have heard during our school days and college days that if anyone scores 35 and less than 35, okay, that person will be failed, all right? And if anyone scores 65, I should say 35, now let's say if it is 34 and less than 34, right, it is fail, because 35 is passing criteria, right? So 34 and less than 34 it will be fail. 65 and less than 75, okay, you get into the first class category. And then 75 and less than 90, you come into distinction category. And then 90 and above, you get into merit. In other words, these are the top performer, right? First rank, usually people who are in the top ranks of the education system, right? This is how the classification works, right? So the same fundamental applies in switch function as well. Okay, now obviously we are not doing the evaluation for students mark sheet here, but this is just to give you a comparison as in how switch function works, okay, in Power BI. Now let's get started with today's video. All right, now I'm going to write two DAX queries and I will explain to you in detail in few minutes. Okay, so I'll write here total quantities sold is equals to sum, and what do I want? I'll select this option. Okay, quantity sold. This ideally it is there here, but I will tell you the reason why I'm writing this DAX query. I mean, already the data is already there as DAX quantity sold. However, earlier when I was writing the switch DAX query, I was facing lot many problems and I was not getting the proper evaluation. All right, so that is one of the reasons why I'm writing this particular DAX query. Okay, and wherein in other words, the reason I'm writing this DAX query is that because in product name there are only the product names are getting repeated and the quantities sold are also getting repeated, and when I was trying to do the complete total in the matrix visual and then write the switch function, I was not able to get the proper evaluation for that. Okay, although the DAX query did not have any error, but it did not give me the result that I was expecting. So I'll write this particular DAX query, total quantity sold is equals to sum, and this particular section will do the complete total. Okay, all right, so this DAX query is being written. Now let us write the another DAX query, which is going to be the switch function. So I'll write product sales classification. And this is going to be very handy. All right, this is going to be one of the complex DAX queries you will ever write. And believe me, if you're able to explain this to your recruiter, there are high chances that your recruiter will be very interested in very impressed in the data analyst interview. Okay. So before I write the switch, I'll write where, and then I'll mention total quantities is equals to, and then I will select the DAX query we have written. Okay. And then I will say return, and I'll write return. And now we'll write the switch function. Switch, it says expression. And in order for us to do the multiple evaluation, right, we will start with true. And then, okay, the expression, I'll write total quantities. If the total quantities, if it is less than 1200, then I will classify this as low. The performance for this is low. And once again, comma, okay, then the second value. See, here in switch, what it's doing is that first we mentioned true, and then if it's true, right, then we will have the multiple evaluation value. The first will be the value, right? So there is particular value. Let's say if it is 300, I mean if it's 400, or I mean that's the numerical value, right? So here we have mentioned that if it's less than 1200, then the classification will be low. All right. And once again, we're going to evaluate another value, total quantities less than 1800, then it's medium. And now total quantities greater than 1800, it will be high. Okay. And now we are done with this complex DAX query of switch, and a close bracket, hit enter. Now I'll explain. Now you may be asking, like, I could have straight away started with, switch, and why did I write this variable, and then why did I write return and all that? So see, when I was writing the DAX query of switch earlier, right, half an hour ago, I was facing many challenges. I was not getting the proper evaluation. All right, and that was because of the data getting aggregated, data getting completely added up, and it was not giving me the proper evaluation. So when I asked AI, and AI told me that, okay, this is one of the solutions, this is how you can do. So when you write this VAR, okay, temporarily it will store the total sum that we have added. Okay, it will store in this particular total quantities, and then when we write return, it will return to switch DAX query, and then here we only have to mention this particular name that we have assigned, total quantities. We just have to write that, and then we do the evaluation. It will help you to come up with the proper evaluation. All right. So now we hit enter, and this DAX query will be complete. All right. So let's take a look at now how was the evaluation. All right. I'll click on matrix. I'll enlarge this. I'll add the product name. We want to see the performance of the products that I can see on the left. All right. And now I'll add this DAX query. I'll drag it down in the values. Before that, let's see the quantity section. Here we have the actual quantity sold, or rather I think I will drag the another DAX query that we wrote, which is total quantity sold. Let me add that here. Okay, here you can see the values, and now we'll add the product sales classification. I'll drag it down. All right, now I'll highlight this to you. So here you can see this, right? The product butter is a high performing product. Okay, based on the classification that we have, it is high. Here it says 2014, right? If you remember a few minutes back, we mentioned that if it's greater than 1800, then it should be classified as high. If it is, let's say cheese, right? If it is less than 1800, it's medium, right? See, so here our evaluation is completely perfect based on the conditions that we had specified. All right, you can see that those which are reflecting as medium, they are less than 1800, and you don't have anything less than 1200. That's why you don't see low particular evaluation. You don't see the evaluation being returned as low. All right, and now finally we are completely done with our proper DAX query. We're done with writing the complex DAX query, which is switch. All right, now let's say I'll go back to report. Before that, I'll do one thing. I'll remove this. So let's say that your manager, right, or the decision maker, let's say the VP of the company's project or the company, or let's say the president wants to see, he'll asking you, he'll say that, hey, you know what, I want to see which are the high performing sales, which products have high sales value and which are completely low. So imagine that he's asking you this question, and that's where this switch function will be very, very handy. So you have to imagine that you have a lakhs of rows, right? Just to give you an idea. Okay, here we have this product details. This is very much similar to what happens in a retail store. You have butter, cheese, detergent, dishwashing liquid, floor cleaner, milk, notebook, pen, pencil, rice, etc. Okay, and then you have the category in which they fall. Then you have the period, month and the year, how many quantities were sold, what was the sale amount per unit, etc. So your let's say vice president of the company wants to know that which product had the higher sales and which were doing medium. All right, so he wants to say that he wants to focus on the high performing sales for that particular product. And then based on that, now once you give this classification, right, you don't even have any other numbers. So here just basis this product, you say that okay, butter did really perform really very well. And then you say cheese, detergent, and let's take a look at yearly which product did really very well yearly basis. So that will also give us an idea. Okay, I will click on the clustered column section. I'll make sure that this is enlarged. All right, and I'll add the period here. In the period, what I'll do in the x-axis, I'll drag the value which is month. Okay, here we need here. Okay, and the y-axis, I'll drag the product name. Let's see. And then I will add the total quantity sold. I'll drag that here. And we'll see based on the classification, we'll also drag the another DAX query, which is product sales classification. Or I'll do one thing, I'll remove this total call, just try to see. I'll try to drag this in y-axis. It seems that I think we may have to select another visual. Let's say I'll click with pie chart. Okay. Or no, I think, or rather, I'll delete this. I'm just trying to think, like, for yearly basis, comparatively, which product had done really very well compared to overall years, and we wanted to see the product sales classification, which did really very well, which was a high performing product over the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 7 or 8 years. I'm trying to think. Give me a moment, because this is also going to be very much needed, right? Let me see. Here we have this matrix, right? Let me see if I could also add the year here. Let me see. Or maybe I think I'll remove this. I'll try to add another matrix visual. Let me see. In the rows section, I'll add the month. And in the column section, let's see, product name. I think this may give us an idea. Let's see. And then I'll add the product sales classification in the values. I think this makes a lot of sense now, right? So here, each and every year, right, comparatively, like if you see the evaluation, right, for 2010, let's say which particular product, what is the performance of butter in 2010, 2011, 12, 13, 14. So which was consistently trying to see. Okay, so when I look at the matrix visual, right, I mean individually, if I look at one particular year, they are reflecting as low and everything. But if you look at the aggregate, right, if you look at the aggregate, it is reflecting as high and medium. So you can see here that if you look at the aggregate last 12 years data, butter's performance was good basis the evaluation that we have. And then cheese had the medium performance, and then detergent, again, it's high. So yeah, I'll tell you the reason behind this also. Okay, if you look at it logically, okay, we would need detergent to wash our clothes regular basis, right? We can't live without that. So obviously the detergent performance is also pretty high basis the evaluation that we have mentioned. Dishwashing liquid, again, it's high. Floor cleaner, it's medium. Okay. And let's say milk, we drink tea every day. Again, so if you look at the evaluation at the bottom, it's high. And notebook, okay. And pencil, and etc. So now I hope you would have got an understanding, right, that okay, why you would need to write this switch DAX query, and how this is extremely important for the supply chain perspective, right? If you are into supply chain and if you want to create a purchase order, you would need to figure out that which product is high in sales, which is low, which is medium. You will study the data, and basis that, you'll be able to do the demand and supply evaluation, right? Okay, there's a demand, a lot of demand for this particular product. We can, create a purchase order for this particular product, and we said, okay, this is what we need. We need to order this many quantities, and this will also drive the sales. And basis that, the sales and the marketing department will also need this data. They will look at that, okay, these particular products did really very well over last 13 years, so we would need to plan the campaign so that we can promote and we can drive the sales, and that in return will also have an impact on the profits as well. All right, so thank you very much for patiently watching the video. Do share this with your friends, all right, wherein I will continue to add valuable content. And this was really the most complex DAX query that I've written so far. All right, so once again, thank you so much for patiently watching this video. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel. All right, so thank you so much, and have a lovely day ahead.